How are you guys doing? Today is Monday, January 4th, 2021 out here in this quarantine. I'm James Simpson. For this episode of The Elite, I'm going to do an individual profile on Toni Kroos, one of the world's best midfielders out of Germany who's currently playing for Real Madrid. And he has such a long story up until now, but it has a lot to do with a lot of winning because he was one of the best players at a very, very young age. And considering right now he's turning 31, it's probably no. I mean, he's not going to stop being really, really elite anytime soon. So going into 2021, I do believe that Toni Kroos is a player to keep your eye on if you do plan on watching a good amount of soccer. And he plays for Real Madrid, and he's won a lot of championships, and I have no doubt that he's going to win anymore. So I just starting off. He originally got his start in Greifswalder, the soccer club, early on. He started playing really young. He found his way on the Bayern Munich youth organization. For his senior debut, he got moved up to Bayern Munich 2 before eventually moving over to Bayern Munich in 2007. But before that, he won the Golden Player at the 2006 Euro Under-17 Championship. He was also given the golden ball at the 2007 FIFA U17 World Cup. So, of course, for Germany, he already established himself as a young phenom, or a Wunderkind, if you will. And that would eventually lead to him getting his early start at Bayern. But at Bayern, he wouldn't get a lot of early starts. Or at least early on in 2007, 2008, he only played 12 matches in a season where Bayern Munich would go ahead and win the Bundesliga. They would win the they'd win the Europa League, and Toni was their leading scorer. But of course, with him playing in the middle with Bastian Schweinsteiger and Miroslav Klose and so many different other German greats that were occupying the midfield for Bayern, they felt that it was the smartest decision to move him to Bayer Leverkusen for 2009, because 2007, 2008. His last year at Bayern, he finished with a goal and an assist playing in 17 games. So, I mean, he was playing, and he was a big part of Bayern Munich. And of course, in 2008, 2009, they would finish second in the Bundesliga, and they'd lose in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But after that, Toni Kroos would eventually get a chance to go on loan to Bayer Leverkusen, and in his 2009-2010 season, he would finish with 9 goals and 11 assists. In one of his amazing, in his age 19, age 20 season. It was his coming of age season where he showed the rest of Bayern, especially, that he was a player not to be messed with. And in 2009, 2010, Bayer Leverkusen would finish they'd finish fourth in the Bundesliga, as they would eventually qualify for Champions League the following year. But following his year in Leverkusen, Toni Kroos would get a chance to go back to Bayern. But before that, he had established himself as a good enough player on Leverkusen that he went to the South Africa World Cup in 2010. That was his first World Cup appearance up until that point. And by then, he'd already been a Bundesliga champ with Bayern the first time, but this time it was his chance to show that he was one of the best midfielders by himself, and he can be a starting player on a championship level team. So in 2010, 2011, he comes back to Bayern. And in this season, Bayern Munich would eventually finish. They finished third in the Bundesliga, which is the lowest that they've been in a bit. They haven't, or in 2010, 2011, they finished third in the Bundesliga, the lowest they'd been for a while. But of course, they jumped back from that as they finished second, or they lost in the semifinals of Champions League. Mario Gomez was the leading scorer, as he did end up winning the. He was the top scorer in the Bundesliga that year, but Bayern Munich was, of course, building themselves up once again with Toni Kroos helping them. In the 27 Bundesliga matches that he would play, he would finish with a goal and 3 assists, and he'd play all 7 of the Champions League matches as well. But Bayern Munich would make it far, but they still weren't where they needed to be. Leading into Toni Kroos' next season, in the 2011-2012 season, where this would be his age 22 season. This would be a big season for Bayern Munich, as Bayern Munich would eventually finish second in the Bundesliga to Robert Lewandowski and Borussia Dortmund, but they would finish as runners-up in the Champions League to Chelsea, which is when they were knocking basically at the door, but they weren't let in. And this season, Toni Kroos would finish. He would start 31 games for the Bundesliga. He would finish with 4 goals and 9 assists, the most assists he'd have with a Bayern uniform, because of course he had more with Leverkusen. He played 14 games in the Champions League, finishing with 2 goals and 5 assists in those 14. So he had 7 scoring plays within those 14 matches, averaging doing so in every other game. And he scored a goal in the DFB Pokal as Bayern Munich finished as the runners-up in the DFB Pokal as well as the like right before they won the treble, they were the runners-up in the Bundesliga, they were the runners-up in the DFB Pokal, and they were runners-up in Champions League, but the next season it was no more. So in 2012-2013, which would be Toni Kroos's age 22 season at Bayern Munich, they would win the Bundesliga straight out. They'd have 91 points in the table. They would win the DFB Pokal, and they would go on to win Champions League as Mario Mandzukic would lead the team in scoring as he had 15 goals on the season. It was a well-rounded outing. In this season, Toni Kroos would finish with 6 goals and 8 assists in 24 Bundesliga appearances, 3 goals in 9 Champions League matches. Just big performances all around just to help Bayern Munich secure the win. This is the first time he had won Champions League. This is the second time that he'd won the Bundesliga. And he also ended up winning the FIFA World Cup, the FIFA Club World Cup. Just a big all-around performance for him. And then going into 2013-14, this would be his final season at Bayern Munich because he had already reached the pinnacle. He would play 29 matches in a season where Bayern Munich would finish by winning the Bundesliga yet again. They'd win the Pokal, but they lose in the semifinals of Champions League. In the season, Toni Kroos would finish with 2 goals and 4 assists, and as a whole, and then he would help Bayern win the double. And then after missing the treble, they eventually went to the World Cup in Brazil. And in this outing, he would finish with 2 goals and 3 assists. He was the leading assister in the World Cup. And Germany would end up winning the They would win the 2014 World Cup. So in this year, he'd pick up his third and final Bundesliga champ. He would win the World Cup with Bayern, he would win the World Cup with Germany, And then following that season, he would go to Real Madrid he would transfer to Madrid over the summer. And right after they got there, he helped win the UEFA Super Cup and he won the FIFA World Cup with Real Madrid. And then following the first half of the season, he was named to the FIFA World Cup World 11 in the UEFA team at midfield for the first time in his career. It was also the first time in his career that he had 10 assists it was the first time he had 10 assists in a calendar year for a soccer season at midfield. So Toni Kroos, after having won the treble, shown that he was at that point that he was, if not the best, one of the best midfielders in all the world. Transitioning to his next season, he went in his next season with Real Madrid in La Liga. He would play 36 games in a season where Real Madrid would eventually finish second in La Liga. They would finish in the round of 16 in the Copa del Rey, and they would lose in the semifinal of Champions League. They would, however, win the UEFA Super Cup and the Club World Cup with his first time there, and Cristiano Ronaldo would be the leading scorer with 48 goals that season. Transitioning into his 2015-16 season, he would help Real Madrid finish second in La Liga yet again, where this time they actually won Champions League. And in this season, in 2015-16, Toni Kroos would finish with 10 assists in La Liga in 32 matches, which is insane for a midfielder. For the overall season, he'd finish with 4 goals and 13 assists in all competitions for the season. And he was also named to the World Pro 11 and the UEFA team for the second time in his career, additionally winning his third FIFA Club World Cup, his second overall Champions League win, his first with Real Madrid, and this would be the first time he had 10 plus assists in La Liga. He would make a second appearance in the Euro Championships. He would win his 4th UEFA Super Cup in 2016. So of course 2016 was a very big year for Toni Kroos. Leading into the 2016-17 season, he would finish with 12 assists in 29 La Liga matches, finishing with 14 in total on the season, where Real Madrid, for the second year in a row, would win Champions League, and for the first time since 2012 would win La Liga after finishing runners-up the last couple times. They also won the UEFA Super Cup and the UEFA Super Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup. They won all four of those trophies. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo led the team in scoring, and Toni Kroos is a big part in helping that. And with that, he would win his third Champions League. He'd win his first La Liga champ of his career. He'd win the FIFA Club World Cup for the fourth time in his career. He was named to the UEFA team in the FIFA Pro World 11 for the third time in his career. This is the second time in his career he finished with 10 plus assists in La Liga. It was the most assists that he'd ever finished with in a year. This is the fourth time you'd finish with 10 plus assists in a season. And of course, Real Madrid was continuing to be one of the best teams in all of soccer. Jumping to his 2017-18 season, which would be his age 27 or his age 28-ish season, he would finish third. He would help Real Madrid finish third in La Liga. They would win Champions League for the fourth time in 5 years, which is super big considering he first got there in 2014 right after they won. But his fourth year of being on Real Madrid, they had won Champions League. They won the UEFA Super Cup for the third year in a row. They won the Supercopa de España, and they won the FIFA Club World Cup for the third year in a row. As Cristiano Ronaldo led the team in scoring yet again, a well-rounded La Liga performance, well-rounded Champions League performance. Even though they couldn't get La Liga, they still won Champions League for the third time in a row. And within this three-peat, Toni Kroos was leading the way. In 2017-18, he finished with 6 total goals and 9 total assists on the season and 54 total matchups. He had 5 goals and 7 assists in 27 La Liga matchups. And then in the FIFA World Cup, he would eventually go and score probably the best goal of the 2018 World Cup. It was a set piece against Sweden to, I think, draw the game for Germany. But he was still showing that he was the best midfielder in the world, and he was still inflicting his pain. Or he was still enforcing his reign over the position. But 2017 was the last time he made a World 11 or a UEFA team. But in 2018, he was still showing that he was one of the best players on that team. And then in 2019, once Cristiano Ronaldo left the team and Karim Benzema was the leading scorer in this season, in his age 30 season, the season that he would turn 29, La Liga and Real Madrid would finish third in La Liga. They would finish as semifinalists in the Copa del Rey. They'd lose in the round of 16 of Champions League, but they'd win the FIFA World Cup, the FIFA Club World Cup. Just big win for them, but it was a bit of a setback of a year. But naturally, is understood when a player as good as Cristiano Ronaldo leaves the team for Juventus. The team was still holding it down defensively, but offensive, there were still some problems. There were still they still had to adjust to life without Ronaldo, especially dealing with the fact that they had scored 31 less goals this season than they had the year in 2017, 2018. And in 2018, 2019, Toni Kroos would finish with 4 assists in La Liga. He had 7 total assists on the season. 2019 doesn't go down as one of his best, but he was still there. He was still one of the reasons why Real Madrid did so incredibly well, which leads into the 2019-2020 season. And in this season, Toni Kroos would in this season, Toni Kroos, in turning 30 years old, because this was his age 30 season, he finished with 4 goals and 5 assists, playing 35 matches. In a season where Real Madrid would end up actually winning La Liga, they would win the Supercopa de España too, but they would get bounced in the round of 16 of Champions League and lose in the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. But they were jumping right back up. This is the first time that Toni Kroos and Real Madrid had won La Liga without Ronaldo for quite a bit. So this was very important to them, and they were kind of holding it down as one of the best defensive teams in all of soccer. That time they only allowed 25 goals scored. Of course, is that in some due part to their amazing defensive line and Thibaut Courtois in goal. But Toni Kroos is a big part of that as well, because he's a midfielder, so of course he plays incredible defense in order to do so. And then That's how the 2020 season ended. And going into this current season, we are currently in the 2020-2021 season. And as it currently stands, Toni Kroos has played 15 La Liga games, and he currently has 1 goal and 1 assist. He also has 1 assist in 6 Champions League matchups, as Real Madrid has advanced past the group stage into the knockout stages. So that's going to be very interesting. And Toni Kroos, being a veteran at this stage of the game, I imagine that he's going to have a lot of elite football up his sleeve. If you understand how good of a player Toni Kroos is, he's just very technically gifted. If you were to see him right now, he is a 31-year-old He's now 31 today. He's a 31-year-old midfielder who's incredibly accomplished, and for good reason. He can pass with either foot. He plays incredible defense. He's probably one of the smartest soccer players I've ever seen. He can fit seamlessly well into almost any system. I don't believe that Real Madrid will be his last stop. I could possibly see him moving very, very soon. But as of right now, as it stands on January 4th, 2021, Toni Kroos is arguably the world's best midfielder. He's holding it down for Real Madrid. And as of right now, he is still playing incredibly elite football that very few can stay on par with. And with that said, Toni Kroos, it is his 31st birthday, so of course, happy birthday to him. And with that said, I want to appreciate you guys for listening to all 16 and a half minutes of this piece. And I implore that you guys watch some more Toni Kroos at Real Madrid, because he is one of the world's best players, and people should have a chance to see what he can do before he's done, because he's still not many players can win the World Cup and the Champions League 4 times and still win multiple championships in 2 different countries. Just while doing so. I mean, that's a lot of soccer games that he's won, and a lot of soccer, and not very many soccer games that he's lost. But with that said, I hope all is well. I want to thank you once again for listening to my piece. With that said, that should wrap up my individual profiles for today. I hope all is well. And peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.